Hi everybody, it's Einstein again. I mean Wookie. So we're making enchiladas today, and I promised you guys another cooking video. So I've got about 3 pounds of meat in here because I bought a 5-pound block, which was horribly expensive. Thanks to all these guys who believe everything that they read. So what we're gonna do, I'm making enchiladas today. So we're gonna take you through the entire process of making enchiladas. And I also, they're going to be gluten-free. Not necessarily casein-free this time, because the only cheese that our local stores will stock for gluten-free is the Dia mozzarella. As you guys know, my wifey cannot have yellow cheese because it causes migraines. So I have to stick with the white cheese. So I bought some Monterey Jack, and there's pepper jack in there. So we will do that. But this is how you do. Remember a while ago in my videos I said about getting one of these, and all this does is it helps break up the beef. And as you can see, all I'm doing is stirring. I can break it up just nicely this way. And let those chunkies go away. You can also stir with it. This one particular model is very sturdy, so I can stir my meat with it. I can put my spices in and stir them up and all of that. All right, so we're gonna brown up our beef first, drain it. I'm slicing onions, and for those, I had a question posed by my mother-in-law a while back, because she didn't know how to properly slice onions. And I'm going to take you through the process with this monster of how to slice onions. I'm sorry it's so dark in here. We're having electrical problems because we couldn't pay the electric bill this month. So we did make a payment, so don't get me wrong there, but you know, as I'm sure all of you know, they want a whole lot more now than they used to. So you cut both ends off like so. Then you run your knife down the middle. You just need a little bit of a score there, and then you take the outside. This is a quick way to peel. You take one of the outside pieces, because onions have rings. So peel off the outside ring, and bam, peeled onion. I rinse mine off to get the excess juice off, and you know, it might be old wives' tale, but it seems to help a little bit with the eye sting that I'm going through right now, because these are good Colorado onions. They make you cry a lot more than usual. So finish slicing your onion in half. Take it sideways. Now I know this is not proper cutting procedure, but all the chefs out there are gonna go, no, no, no. However, this is home chef work, for one, and two, I'm gonna stab my foot. 5-second rule, huh? And two, I'm going to, I'm trying to hold the onion together because that's important. Now, there are some guys who can do this really fast. I can't. Never been able to. So, okay, so you cut it one way, hold it together, make sure your knuckles are supposed to be the guide. So you're supposed to be like this, knuckles are the guide, and you're supposed to slice down. Okay? So yes, I do know how to operate a knife properly. However, I also have to hold everything on a little tiny cutting board. And that can be a problem sometimes.
Make sure your cutting board is big enough for whatever you're making.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have the micro minis all over here, so.
As many of you may know, we used to live in an RV, so.
Uh-huh. All right.
Smaller was better in that case.
And then you just chop it up. Now the rings in the onions are going to be what will help separate everything. So these long blocks, don't worry about them because they will fall apart. And the reason I'm cutting so many onions, I've got, eyeballs. I've got 2 large onions here. One's going to go in the beef, and the rest of it's going to be topping.
He's crying.
I am crying, yes. So, just watch your fingers when you do this. Don't get them in front of underneath the blade for any reason. And make sure you have a sharp knife. Make this a lot easier, a lot nicer. Won't fall apart quite so much, but as you can see, half of some of my product is getting all over everywhere. Oh, there goes some more on the floor. That's what I mean about having, well, no, that's what we mean about having a large enough cutting board and cutting the surface. And I'm just rough cutting the onions. I'm not doing anything fancy or anything like that with them. I'm just rough cutting everything. Alright, looks like the beef's about ready to be drained. Oh.
Grinch.
Uh-huh.
Dude. Where'd you go? Where'd you go?
I'm right here. My eyes feel like the Grinch, yes.
When I see a grown man cry, just make him cut onions.
Pretty much. Alright, so she's going to step back because she's...
I don't like oil.
No. I'm going to stir this up. Can you... Oh, no, you can't. 1 second. Well, there's... My nose is running off my face, and I have to get to the toilet there. We don't want any drips in our food.
Gross.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so I don't at the moment have a can to put the oil in. You know, usually I use a enchilada can, spare coffee can, something like that. I don't happen to have one of those at the moment, so I'm going to use hot water. Use absolute hottest water you can, and drain your beef.
We had a leak in the ceiling. That's why our stove is so dirty.
Yeah, we had a torrential downpour and a ceiling leak.
He's got a big bug bite on his back.
All right, bam. I'm going to pull this up a little bit. Maybe I can get some extra light in here.
We're working on a power situation.
Yeah, we are. We've asked for help, and for those of you who would like to help, we do have a Patreon page. So I'm going to put an onion in there. Now I make my own chili. So we're going to do turmeric. I'm going to give it a good coating of turmeric. Turmeric is actually really good for you, and it does put in a really nice earthy flavor. All right. Oregano.
You just bought that one.
Yes, I did. So now I gotta fight with it. But I'm not in a hurry because you know, the beef's not going anywhere. It's not like some of the It's not like some of the recipes where you have to be in a hurry, like your eggs are going to burn or something like that. It's, you know, I'm making your basic taco meat. That's all I'm doing. But I'm doing it my style. So I'm gonna
Wookiee style.
I'm doing it Wookiee style. I'll put some oregano in there. I'm making quite a bit of it, so if you want like a good recipe, there's probably a tablespoon of turmeric, 3 tablespoons of oregano. I don't generally cook with salt because, for one, it makes me swell, and 2, you know, by the time you get everything together, there should be enough salt in there to flavor everything anyhow. We're opening up our garlic. I do have garlic powder, but I like fresh garlic too. So let's see here. Do we have anything left to do this with? Well, I'm gonna have to do a quick wash. Right, spoons again. Once upon a day, we had a shit ton of silverware and stuff. Now we just don't. I won't go into detail, but it is annoying. And for those of you who are wondering, yes, I did get a fresh batch of soapy water to do dishes last night and ran out of spoons. Not these kind of spoons, but the energy kind of spoons that we all deal with.
The chronic illness side of spoons.
Yeah, the chronic illness spoons.
Get out of here, bug.
Alright, so.
Hey, honey.
Huh? Oh.
I have to use the restroom.
Oh, do you? Okay. Give me just a second. I'm gonna pause this and resume in a minute. Alright, we're back. You got the top down view now. Sorry for the stomach.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah, her arms fell asleep and all of that. So, next step is garlic. Now, for those of you garlic lovers out here, I do use a generous portion. A couple tablespoons worth, and it's fresh garlic. So, you know, got to get the vitamins, the mints, and all that stuff in there. We'll be chopping up toppings and stuff later on. But for right now, we're just making, like I said, we're making our basic taco meat recipe. However you guys want to do it. Okay. I always eyeball everything because that's just the way I am. I've been cooking long enough, I can usually get away with it. And I have yet to have the wife say, nope, that was a little bit much. So I like bold flavors. You have to be careful with the cumin because it can overwhelm things rather easily. It's the taco meat version of like cloves. So I put a generous portion in there, so it should be fine. And then chili powder. What would be taco meat without the chili powder? Huh? And poof. I'm gonna open, I got a second one here that I might have to use. I try to get just the plain chili powder to avoid the salt, so for those of you who are sensitive to salt, that would be a good idea. And there's dark and light chili there. And then, as I said, this makes a great spoon. We're gonna try and stir this up. I'm gonna put water back in here, about 2 cups worth ish. But I don't want dry meat. For one, we all have had dry meat before, I'm sure. It sucks. And 2, the spices are going to pull the moisture out of the meat anyway. So here we go. Now for those of you who aren't used to my cooking, yes, I do cook with my shirt off because laundry, for one. Laundry, messies, all of that stuff. Yes, I know, body hair. You don't have to tell me, I already know.
And you guys, keep in mind that this is an at-home cooking show.
Yeah, this isn't somebody standing in a stage in a professional setting doing this. This is at home, over your own stove. You know, we're doing a relaxed thing, like you just come over and you're just watching me throw together a recipe. Okay. So there's all of that. Want to make sure that you thoroughly mix in everything, because the edges tend to not get the seasoning, and then the middle gets all of it, and you know, that's not necessarily a good deal either. And as you can see with the onions and stuff, they will be sauteed up. So we've got all of that done. Oh, excuse me. And I'm going to have to move this over because I'm going to have to start cooking tacos in a few. So I'll be right back. I've got to get my taco pans and all of that. Okay, be right back. Okay, well, I'm not sure exactly how much longer I'm going to be able to do this, but we're going to try. As you can see, everything's bubbling and cooking up just great. I'm going to taste test it here in a few, as soon as it's done getting settled in. That way I can figure out, do I need more taco or more garlic, more chili? You know, you have to adjust it on the fly to make sure that you got it right. So we're gonna find out. Take that as my test bed. You're gonna want 8 by 11 inch pan. I use glass, so here's one of the 2 of them I have, because we're making enchiladas, so you're going to want, you have to bake them off, of course, but you're also going to have to cook off the taco meat, or you're going to have to cook the taco shells in order to get the enchilada rolled up. I know what I'm trying to say, I'm just out of wind. So you cook the corn tortillas so you can roll up the enchilada and put it in the pan. I found 505. Now this is gluten-free. For everybody who's wondering, it's a gluten-free enchilada sauce. And the wife and I just simply love this stuff. It's got great flavor. Let's see. There we go. Let's see if I can get it up there. So non-GMO, gluten-free, and vegan. So it should cover all the basics, but my wife needs it gluten-free, and that's what we're going to use for our chili sauce. Now, if I could, I would put in a bit of cayenne pepper, but I can't. So, if it's going to be stubborn, I can just pour it out this way. Not quite enough chili. And yes, I use a lot of spice. I like spice. For those of you who either are too unsure to do it yourself, or don't like or your body can't handle a ton of spices, there is gluten-free taco mix out there. I think Old El Paso, makes some of it. Great Value has some. So look in your gluten-free aisle for it. I liked it to go pow, as Emerald Lagasse would say. When I taste something, I want to have that explosion of flavor in my mouth, and that's how I cook. Now, for what everybody's looking at this going, oh my gosh, that's a lot. This is not a lot of meat, considering we're going to be eating this for a few days. So I cook in large amounts because I don't tend to cook every day. I cook 2 or 3 times a week, maybe, sometimes only once, and then we go from there. We live on leftovers at the house, so it is one of those things. And I'm sure that before it's all said and done with and things improve, that the rest of us who aren't doing it at the moment will be doing it. Now, I also want to preface this by letting you guys know, you the viewers, that because of the gas prices and stuff and the hit that the farmers have to take, next year is going to be rough too, because you're not going to have the foods that you're used to. The farmers, because of the gas prices, the seed prices, and the fertilizer prices especially, because of this I don't know what you call it. I'm afraid to say too much about it, but because they're trying to save the planet from I don't know what. You're trying to save the planet by cutting down the trees and putting up windmills. I don't understand that at all. Because now you're cutting off the one thing that does take the carbon dioxide out of the atmosphere. So anyway, but getting back to what I was trying to say, the farmers can't plant as much this year for next year's harvest. So this year was light. Next year's going to be light. So just keep in mind that you're going to need to keep up with current trends and find out what's going on. I'm going to taste this and see if this is up to my standards, and then I will have to pause this. Oh yeah, that's spicy. Hoy. So I'm going to put that aside for now. This is a gas stove, but it's electrical. It's supposed to be lit by electricity, but we don't have that at the moment. So a little bit later on, I'm going to finish this up, but for now I can make us some burritos, some beef burritos, and have some lunch. All right. So stay tuned, and I will continue this disaster in a bit. Hi everybody. Well, we're back again, and with power. Gotta love it. Anyhow, let's see, we were at the point with our enchiladas where we needed to start frying the corn tortillas. So Let's turn that on. Gonna want to turn your oven on to about 350 because you're gonna want to bake them off. And you're also gonna want to put some grease in your pan. So, if you guys don't mind, I will probably be singing to myself along the way here sometime, because that's just what I do. I've been in a singing mood lately because it makes me happy, and I need more happy. I'm sure I'm not the only one that's felt the squeeze from our inflation and complete cluster that's going on as far as the government goes. So, enough about that. So I sing to make myself feel better. And I'm trying to chase away all of the flies that gathered in the house while I had the door open and we were doing stuff. I'm hoping I can get some of these flies out of here because I hate flies in my kitchen. No, we do not have screen doors. That did not come with the house. So I can't like open the door and keep the bugs out at the same time. Okay, so we've got over on this side over here, let me pull this down. So we got our hamburger meat here. We're gonna fry our corn tortillas here. Find the corn tortillas. Now I'm using these. They are of course gluten-free, tagged gluten-free. I use the yellow ones because I found that they hold up a lot better than the white ones do. So that's why I use the yellow ones. And personally, I think they have a better flavor, but it's something I grew up with. So, you know, everybody's experience is different. And I am going to warm this up a little bit. If I can. There we go. That wonderful funky smell of propane or natural gas, whichever. But this is a gas stove. The funny part is the only reason I was able to cook earlier is because I have a lighter, and I was able to light the burners. So, let's see, what else was I doing besides, I've got a long night of dishes ahead of me, so, yay me. I'm going to go ahead and chop up some tomatoes because I like tomatoes. Wifey's allergic to them, but she's not deathly allergic, but they do cause blisters in the mouth. So she doesn't eat them often. So it's more or less just for me. Monterey Jack cheese, and that would be important. A couple of tomatoes. Okay, so we got the Monterey Jack cheese. That's going to be important. I'm going to cut up dice up the tomatoes, because because I'm going to put them on top of the enchiladas after they're done cooking. Now, let me make a little bit of room over here before I make a mess, so that I can put my pan down flat. As I said, I have the glass ones. I prefer the glass over the others. And the cast iron's heating up just nicely. I love the cast iron skillets. Some people, I know there was some documentary or something a while back about the cast iron skillets and oh, how much germs and stuff they have, but the older cast iron back in the day did not have a non-stick coating, so you had to use lard and stuff and bake into the cast iron, the iron pan itself, to season it and make it so it's non-stick. And those you do not, the old ones like that, you cannot wash with soap, with our modern dish soap. It will take the all of the seasoning out of it. So that's what they were complaining about, as far as, you know, you get, whenever you leave grease or anything around, you're going to get mold and stuff in there. And the thing about every pan is that it's going to get hot enough to kill all that. So, you know, I would take it with a grain of salt personally. My cast iron is a modern one. It did have coating, or does have coating on it, so I am not overly concerned with it. I'm going to close up the door again because I think most of the flies left. And what's left of the flies are the bug zapper is going to get, or the fly strip. So and I need a spoon so I can do this. I did leave the enchilada sauce out from earlier because I used it in the burritos. Not necessarily recommended that you do that, but it's okay. So, we got all this going. Now, I'm going to do this one taco at a time. Or one enchilada at a time. Taco. I'm losing my mind. No, today's been especially stressful. We lost power. The power company, for whatever reason, has never gotten the paperwork to keep the power on. You know, and of course our finances, since my wife and I are both on disability, are being squeezed badly. So it's been a mess, and I'm trying to de-stress. And this is one of the ways I do it, is cooking. You know? I'm not in a restaurant, so I don't have to worry about cook times and orders and all of that stuff, so. Okay. Now, you turned your grease on, you put your grease in the pan. Now to test to see if it's ready to go, you take one of your taco shells, your corn tortilla shells. See how it bubbles? It's ready to go. If it does not bubble, it's not ready to go. Okay? You don't need to cook them very long. You just need to cook them. You're basically soft cooking them so that you can roll them up without them tearing. Okay, drain your grease off your shell. I am not sure that that's going to work. Nope, that's not going to work. Man, she be hot. I just made it tostada. Yeah, that's how little cook time you really need with these. All you're doing is trying to soft cook them. That's all you want to do. That should be a lot better. If it folds up, it's good. Okay. Now I'm gonna show you the rest of everything if I can. If the arm will let me. And that is a good question whether it will let me or not. All right. I don't have a whole lot of space, sadly. So I will try to do my best for you guys to show everything that we're doing. All right. Now, from here, I want to mix up the sauce a little bit here. Get it, shake up the sauce and make sure that it's stirred up a little bit. Like any sauces, they tend to settle. Okay, that's warmed up enough. I need a small spoon. Fly me to the moon. Let me play among the stars. No, that is not copyright material. That is me singing. Okay, so normally if you want extra onions you can put it in there, but since we put the onions in the meat anyway, I'm going to take a spoonful of meat, tablespoon of meat. Remember what I said about the yellow cheese? So we got the Monterey Jack. So for you dairy free, if you get the Dia Monterey Jack, you'll be fine. Using just plain old Monterey Jack. Okay, I put sauce inside the enchiladas too. About a tablespoon and a half, somewhere in there. Where's the lid? So, pardon me, I'm trying to get organized. All right, I'm gonna fold it in half, pull it a little bit, roll it, and then you're gonna take this and you're going to set it in here like this. Okay, there's your start of your enchilada pan. You're gonna line one side of it, and then you should be able to get 2, maybe 3 more sideways. So I'm gonna go ahead and cook things up and let you watch. I don't know if some of you like to watch this to calm down from anxiety attacks or whatever. I've heard of some pretty interesting stuff that way. Yeah, and that's fine. If you want to watch, great. If not, you can fast forward through it. You can fast forward through it and catch the next segment before I put it in the oven. Okay. This bag is going to drive me nuts. My big hands and small bags do not work well together. Besides, it's not like this bag's gonna live anyway. Okay. A little bit of cheese. Yes, I know, I'm a cheese fiend. I really am a cheese fiend. It's part of the reason I'm so fluffy. Fluffy! Yeah, I know, I'm in a weird mood. If it laughs and it makes you happy, great. That's what I want. So, I always wipe my hands between rolling. I don't have gloves on, so it makes everything greasy. Even if you had gloves on, it'd still be greasy. So the end thing is, it's always going to be greasy. Man, that's one hot. That oil's cooking hot. Ooh. I mean, I like it and I don't. I like it because it's going to make things a little faster. I don't like it because if I don't pay attention, I'm going to have tostadas. Okay. So, in half, pull it, roll it. Ouch. Ooh. Now, I don't have fingers much because of being a cook for most of my life. So I can deal with this. Some of you might have to cook these up. My mom used to cook them up, you know, and put them in paper towels. If you've seen me make tacos and stuff before, I think in a previous video, you know what all that's about. It does take a lot of paper towels, so, and quite frankly, we can't afford them. So I'm just doing it this way. But you might have to wait for it to cool down just a bit after getting it out of the frying pan. And that's fine. This is one of those things that you can take your time with. Nothing's in a hurry with these because you bake them off. Now, my family used to make, when we did this, we would do a large batch, like 4 or 5 of these pans. And we would do this up. It would be an all-day project. It would be a family affair. We would do these up. You know, we'd cook a couple of pans because for dinner, you know, and then the rest of them we would put in the freezer for later. Because, you know, you don't want to have this huge production all the time. So if you freeze it up, you should be all right. Then that way you can take it out, pop it in the oven as you need it, or if you have glass, you can put it in the microwave, and then you should be fine. If you ever seen the Stouffer's versions, it cooks about the same way. So, you know, if it's frozen, it'd be what, 30 to 40 minutes at 350 in the oven, or 375, something like that. But just make sure they're nice and hot. So, wifey's hungry, so I'm trying to get one pan done and in the oven, and then I'll do another pan for later. Okay. I got a lot sloppy on that one. And yes, it's okay if it leaks out. It's okay if you make a bit of a mess, because, you know, it's all going in the pan anyway. But yeah, this is the slow way, one at a time. You know, I would be the one cooking the tortillas, or the corn tortillas, and the meat, and then I would have everything ready, and mom would sit at the table, the kitchen table, and assemble everything. So it would make life a lot easier. it made life a lot easier on everybody all the way around. You know, and then I was in high school, so I was young. And I could stand there for hours. She couldn't, because she hurt her back like I did mine. Taking care of patients. I took care of my mom until she passed, as well as my dad. So it's not, for me, it was, I did everything, I did as much as I could possibly do for them before they passed on. They did that for me growing up. I did that for them in their elder years. So, you know, if I had rushed and had a family and kids and everything else, I don't know as I would have had the time to do all that. And I would have missed something wonderful in the very end anyway. So for me, it was sacrifice. It was hard. There are days when, you know, I can't complain because it was fun. There are days we had fantastic days. Days I will never forget. And then we had those days that were just, you know, you just don't want to wish that on your worst enemy. The amount of emotional pain and agony is something special. So for those of you who have mom and dad who are in their elder years, enjoy them while you've got them. Because after they're gone, I heard a lady tell me that after your parents are gone, the world's not the same. And I could see it, but I never realized it until my parents were gone. And let me tell you, the world's not the same after they go. Now, my mother-in-law is fantastic. I love her to death. And all of that. So, and I have the world's greatest wife. And nobody will convince me otherwise. But your parents are just as special as your children in a family unit. And there's just no replacing them. There really isn't. You can add to your family, but you know, everybody does. That's the circle of life. But once they're gone, life kind of sucks a bit. But you have all of those memories to rely on, and you know, they're not really gone. It's just that it's like a car; their body quit. Mine's trying to do the same thing, so I'm just trying to get through this first batch at least so that we can get it in the oven. And as you can see, I'm getting quite a ways. Getting there. Getting there. So, anyway, back to everything else. As you can see, it's going to take a bit. To get a pan going. If you do them fresh, you can put when you put them in the oven, give them about 20 minutes ish. You want the cheese melted and everything nice and boiling in there, and they should be done. Oops, I spoke a little. I got my pan switched backwards. So I'm going to have to fix this in a minute. Or I'm going to have a whole lot of splashy. You don't want to put water. Anybody who's cooked knows you don't like to have water and stuff in your grease. Well, I've got as you saw, I had the frying pan close here so that I didn't drip all over. That left the meat pan all the way out. So I'm going to have to rearrange this a little bit. Ouch. I think I might get one more in there. because I don't want to have to drag meat across my oil. Do this way. For those of you who have kids, please be careful of the handles, because I don't know a kid anywhere that doesn't like to grab the handle of a hot pan on a stove. Some get lucky and mom and dad catch it before it burns them. Others do not. So watch your handles. If you have children, make sure they're turned in so they cannot grab them. I don't have children. I don't have children's yet, so I'm not real worried about it. But I am worried about the dogs. They don't normally jump up on the counter, but they are tall enough to get up there if they would realize it. Always safety first. And for those of us who are fluffy like me, you know that your belly will drag anything with it that it catches. And that's the worst part. All right. Yeah! One row done. So as you can see, you can put 2, maybe 6 long ways here. So we'll see how many we can get in there. We might only be able to get 4, I don't know. It depends on the size of the taco shells you're using. I noticed they finally came out with larger ones. For those of us who don't eat like birds. I used to, when I was a teenager, growing up, and sometimes even now, I can sit down and motor through 12 of those 12 homemade tacos without blinking an eye. The reason I say that's just because, there's some of us who have big appetites. And I don't know about you all, but I like to eat. I got Frank Sinatra stuck in my head. So if I annoy you guys with it, I'm sorry. I just, it's just one of those things. Fly me to the moon. Let me play among the stars. I think I could turn that down even further. And the spoons and everything else are getting hot because the oven's warm. Let me see what it's like on Jupiter and Mars. Ouch, ouch, ouch. Ouch, ouch, ouch. Bernie the fingies. Wonder what Frank Sinatra would sound like in Klingon. Wonder how that would translate over. Do 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 do. Hope I have enough left to put on top of that. Now, some people don't, like I said, I'm a cheese fiend, so I'm putting cheese in the enchiladas. You don't necessarily have to if you're making beef ones. I just find that it's better. My back is giving me fits, so it looks like I might get 3 more on that pan before I have to throw it in the oven. Yep. So if you didn't put your onions in there, you can put your fresh onions on top. As I said earlier, I already fried them up in there to make sure that they were good and soft. You know, my wife does not like fresh, crispy onions, and that's fine. That's her prerogative. So I made them. I'm making these for her, so I want them to be to her liking. But as you can see, it's kind of it's a long process, and this is just the first pan. I've got it set up to make 2, but I might have to wait on the second one for a while. Because my back is not loving on me right now. Ouch. I was watching The Voice earlier and getting into some of these guys who have really fantastic, these guys and gals who have fantastic voices. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that or not in the corner. Oh, excuse me. My bad. Anybody ever notice the higher level your character gets, the more you like end up with surprise burps and stuff? It's like, okay. You know, when you were a kid, you could feel it coming, so you could, you know, duck out of the way so you don't burp really loudly, or maybe you did want to burp really loudly, I don't know. Yeah. The older you get, the more gas you tend to generate. It's kind of funny that way. All right, now I gotta see if I can open another one. All right, so we've got our complete pan here. Gonna turn that off. Oh. So we got our complete pan of enchilada sauce, or enchiladas. As you can see here, we do have it. And once again, mix it up. Once again, greasy hands. There is a tool for that. My wife bought me this fantastic thing, and it makes my life so much easier. because you can just do that. Like I said, I have the world's greatest wife, and nobody's gonna convince me otherwise. Okay, so here we go. Pour the sauce, pour the sauce. Saucy sauce. Saucy sauce. Saucy, saucy, saucy sauce. Okay, that's what you want to do. If you don't need gluten-free, I mean, this is really great sauce. But if you don't need gluten-free and don't want a little extra heat with that, you can always use Old El Paso has enchilada sauce that I grew up on and stuff like that. So I'm going to have to shred some cheese because that's just simply, in my house we would have just covered the whole deck in cheese. I don't have it that much because that's the only bag they had of that particular cheese. So I'm gonna have to shred up what I have left or something. But we're going to get off of here. Put them in the oven. Put it in the middle of the oven for about 20 minutes, and I'll be back when they're done baking. Okay. Okay. Now, when everything is said and done, you can decorate up the enchiladas how you like. And yes, I call it decoration for a reason. You know, all the toppings and stuff are decoration. At least in my book they are. So I am fishing for a fork. Of course, the forks that I want are not where I can reach them. So I haven't had time to get the tomatoes done because I had to go take a rest because my back is seriously mad at me now. So I pushed my back as far as it's gonna go for today. Yay. And I don't want to cut a tomato on my other cutting board just yet. I do want tomatoes though. You just get hungry for fresh vegetables, you know? You get very hungry about it. So I am decorating up the enchiladas here. They did get done, and I will show you what's left of the pan in a minute. Because it's wife and I's dinner time, and she got really hungry, so she had me get her plate. So I'm just gonna quickly destroy some tomatoes because I need these in my stomach. All right, so like I said, you can decorate them up however you want them to be. And when I was growing up, these were enchiladas. Now, I hope they look good to you. I'm going to take you off of the arm. All right. And here's what's left of the enchilada pan. As you can see, it takes longer to make it than it does to destroy it. But that's what they look like. All right. And I'm going to fix the other pan in a while. Gonna take some more pain pills because, you know, back. I will talk to you guys later. I will talk to you guys later. Bon appetit. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day.